bloke's inside him now, trying to get out. He's in a maximum security stomach.
You don't know this story, do you?
Yeah, so the bloke is a policeman who pulled somebody's ear and got fined 600 quid. His name was Nick Godber, and then he got reinstated after people complained that he shouldn't be fined for pulling somebody's ear.
Yeah.
What's the eating story?
This bloke ate somebody's ear at a tube station. And then, a couple of days after that, somebody ate Demi Moore in a restaurant. People were eating lumps out of each other all week.
Which papers have you been reading this week?
I subscribe to Edible Loaves Monthly.
There have been quite a lot of cases of police assault this year.
Why are you looking at my captain when you say that?
As though I might know.
Is it? Yeah,
Well,
there's a
I
lot
was
of
just thinking
police
you work in
assault.
the news, don't you?
All right.
Oh, yes, I do.
He's got a paper round.
Yeah. The youth whose ear was grabbed by PC Godber begged police chiefs, please don't sack him. Would you mind letting go of my testicles, please? Ian and Alan?
Videos. Oh, I know. It's just videos of people in the high street that's been on sale. I think there was somewhere on the tape, there was supposed to be a couple having a snog in a doorway.
Yeah, I think it was something slightly more than a
I thought it
snog.
was sex in a lift.
Did they think they had it in the list?
Yeah.
And
Can we
doorway.
go back?
It was the same bloke with the funny head. He's been responsible for nearly all the crime in this country.
They had all kinds of tapes from surveillance cameras in high streets, and they were going to try and put together a compilation of the best high street action. But I think really if people want to buy tapes of what's going on in lifts and high streets, they really ought to get out much more than they are doing.
But there is a problem of copyright, I think.
No, it was exempt from classification, that was the thing. We didn't have to go through the video censor board or whatever, and then they decided that it did.
Right.
Because it's real life incidents. They sort of said, oh well, it doesn't come under any of our classifications. But then they found an obscure little sort of part of their code that said people, you know, screwing each other in a lift is PG. Or was it VG? It might have been VD. I can't remember anymore.
Yeah.
You've got to keep one hand on the door close button the whole
Not necessarily
time.
your hand.
Oh, right.
Who was it that did it in the lift in the film? It was Joan Collins, wasn't it? In The Bitch. Do you remember that? Don't pretend I'm the only one who's seen that. They've all seen it. Some of them have got it. I know it.
Some of us were in it.
Well, you can. I was just the body double in the stud.
It's the latest work of producer Barry Goulding, who's followed up his previous video of real-life executions with a new tape showing excerpts from security camera footage. In one particularly revolting sequence, a large anus is clearly visible behind a desk. That's the bit where Barry Goulding introduces the video. One sequence shows a stocky, muscular man illicitly making love to a slim, blonde woman in a doorway. Apparently that one came from the security cameras at Kensington Palace. Which video nastiness brings us spooling through to the end of this round, and the scores are very much like Paddy Ashdown's neck, being on something of a knife edge at 4-all. Before fixing our minds on the rest of the show, let's allow our attention to wander for a moment to the forthcoming business of our caption competition, Ian and Alan. This is what you'll see. Paul and Ken, this will be yours.
Well, there's something you don't see every day. Oh, I'll say that
Which
for
one
later.
of
I'll
them
say
say
that
that?
later.
Round 2 is traditionally a round where we cast tradition aside, but this week we've cast tradition aside by not doing so. Which means, of course, it's time to welcome back our geriatric What Happened Next round. One piece of footage for both teams to view. All they have to do is predict the eventual outcome. So Ian and Alan, and Paul and Ken, what happened next?
The horse had to charge through the outdoor studio.
Now, I've seen this before. What happens is that the horse in front, sort of, they're going along like that, and the horse in front suddenly relieves itself onto the pavement, and the other horses behind slip up. And there's some sort in the end, and they end up facing the other way, and they charge that way, and the other horses suddenly go, God, what's happened? And they sort of do this, they crap as well. And they continually somersault for about 5 hours, backwards and forwards, change line, in and out of shoot them.
What it is the horses career straight through the outdoor studio, knocking those two presenters asunder, straight on through the camera into someone's house. And the two presenters then have to go to hospital, and they spend a year, 2 years recovering and learning to walk again, fall in love, marry, and raise horses on a farm somewhere.
And this is the coronation, isn't it?
No.
Everything's
coronation?
going fine. Charles's coronation. Then this mad woman in a coach and eight says, no, no, no! No, it's like in the Bond film. The coach turns into an aeroplane.
Yes.
He tries to get on the coach, and they won't let him on.
Well, let's just have a look and see how far away those guesses were.
There could have been an accident there.
Yeah, so I think we'll have to give it to Paul and Ken, who were the first to mention it. It was the annual circus parade in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A number of clowns were trapped in the wreckage. The emergency services did arrive, but unfortunately all 4 wheels fell off the fire engine simultaneously. Which circus antics bring us galloping to the end of this clear round, and the scores have altered barely at all, really. Ian and Alan have clipped the last fence with 4, whilst Paul and Ken have entered the final furlong with 6. The odd one out round is all that stands between now and the end of it. Paul, your 4 pillocks of the community are Mr. Michael Howard and Mr. Michael Itchianus of New Zealand, Sellafield Nuclear Power Station, and Mr. Yorkshire Bank PLC of Fascist Bastards of Leeds.
What, Mr. Itchy...
Mr. Michael Itchianus.
Michael? What was the Yorkshire man's name?
Mr. Yorkshire Bank PLC of Fascist Bastards is his full name.
Right, well, that's clearly a made-up name.
I don't know how you know that.
He changed it by default.
He did, yeah.
He was so angry with Yorkshire Bank, so whenever he signed a cheque, it said, to whoever it was, from Yorkshire Bank of Fascist Bastards.
So he's changed his name. Now, Sellafield used to be Windscale, which sounded like something out of a horror film, so Sellafield's not really much better, is it? So Michael Howard, his father was Hungarian, was it?
Romanian.
Romanian. And so his name was changed when he was about 10 years old, so I can only assume, as unlikely as it is, that Mr. Michael Itchianus was born with that name.
Is the right answer. Yes, the answer is that all of them have changed their name except New Zealander Mr. Michael Itchianus, who merely changed his telephone number after receiving a large number of phone calls from people who inexplicably found his name funny. Mr. Yorkshire Bank PLC, our Fascist Bastards, was a 30-year-old marketing consultant who, following a row with his bank, changed his name from, bizarrely enough, Michael Howard. Frankly, we find his actions offensive and in poor taste, said a spokesman for Yorkshire Bank, or Mr. Howard is a Pratt Limited, as they're now known. Sellafield changed its name from Windscale in 1981 and has recently spent £5 million revamping its visitors centre in order to give it what they describe as a Disney feel, by which they presumably mean that the mice who live there are now 6 foot tall and wear clogs. Other pragmatic image changes include Ratner's to Signet, Gateway Stores to Summerfield Stores, and of course the Labour Party to the Conservative Party. Okay, Ken, your butch selection contains Michael Barrymore, Bromley Hockey Club, the Prisoners of Alabama, and Barbara Cartland.
Yes. Barbara Cartland has an old age pensioners free bus pass. Michael Barrymore always uses the bus and the tube. The Alabama prisoners were done for not paying their fare. And the Bromley team would have been able to travel much cheaper if their vile little Tory council hadn't taken the GLC to court and overturned our cheap fares policy.
I win?
I was wondering where that answer was going.
Not Is Barbara Cartland the only one that if you blacked her face out, she'd look like an eclipse of the sun?
Favourite colour, pink. Barbara Cartland always wears pink.
Pink. Oh, pink
Always.
mad.
Pink dogs. Pink yogurt cream.
She wears pink dogs.
One on each arm.
One of each arm, like big mucks.
Mind you, her hair's big enough, she's probably got a couple of Labradors in there.
That is a Labrador.
And
Yes.
the prisoners in Alabama have decided to have a pink uniform and their cells pink. Which
They,
means Michael Barrymore is the only...
Non-pink.
I'm going to give you one for that because you're virtually there. I'll give you two, in fact. Yes. The answer is that all of them regularly wear pink, with the obvious exception of Michael Barrymore. Alabama prisoners are made to wear pink if they expose themselves to a female member of the prison staff. The women are also armed with cameras so they can take photos of the offending act. However, many of the women are now in trouble themselves after they had the pictures developed at Boots. Barbara Cartland, who always wears pink, recently attributed her enduring good looks to a Danish body cream called Flame. She says, "My body is exactly like that of an 18-year-old girl." The 18-year-old girl in question has since committed suicide. Alan, your anatomical assortment consists of bat ears, snoring, changing sex, and having a rubber stuck up your nose.
You shouldn't have a picture of Martin. He's very sensitive about his ears. Mind you, I'm not surprised. Look at the size of the bud.
He could get them stuck down. I remember my dad told me once that Bing Crosby used to have really big
That's
ears.
right, he did, yeah.
And he used to glue them down.
What with?
Well, glue, you know.
Glue.
This bloke down here in the corner, there was a story about someone having a rubber up their nose and having had it there for a very, very long time.
15 years. He'd stuffed it up there in school, and then he'd forgotten about it for the rest of his life.
Every time he went like that, he forgot something, right, because he rubbed a bit out of his... I can't remember that. What did you say? So it's something to do with operations. Sex change, that's clearly some sort of an operation, isn't it? Tampering.
Generally speaking, yes.
Generally speaking.
Not the most effective one there, was it?
It doesn't look...
Isn't that all of them
snoring
are
is a
reversible
sex change.
except the cure for snoring? Whereas you could reverse your ears and have them stuck out again, you could reverse the sex back again, and
Quite
you could certainly
difficult,
stick
that
the
one.
rubber up, you know.
No.
The
You'd have to
male
be
to
mad,
female
but
sex
yeah.
change operation is quite difficult to reverse.
Well, it's not that easy at the first way round either, you know.
No, it involves sort of sticking stuff back.
That'd be a big job, wouldn't
You
it?
just cut out a rib and wrap it up in surplus fats and the chance of stomach. That one won't make it through, will it?
Well, it might do.
I'm feeling it will.
I'm going to put you out of your misery. The answer is that they all require operations which have been banned until further notice by Berkshire Health Commission in an attempt to make £5 million worth of savings. The odd one out is the surgical removal of a rubber jammed up a nostril, which was recently given the go-ahead when a Mr. Dave Foley discovered he'd had one stuck up there since his school days. He'd have taken it out himself, but there was a protractor in the way. Heavy snoring is most common in obese middle-aged men and can often lead to problems during the day because it disturbs other journalists who are trying to work. New research about transsexuals shows that the part of their brain that governs responses to sexual stimuli is more like a woman's than a man's. In women, that part of the brain is located at the back of the cranium, whereas in men, that part of the brain is usually located about 3 feet lower down. And finally in this round, Ian, your radical quartet, Lenin, Carlos the Jackal, Tchaikovsky, and Mr. Michael Itchianus.
Carl, this is names again, if it's the only thing we know about the amusing Mr. Itchianus, as I'm sure it's pronounced.
Not on this show, it isn't.
Itchianus isn't much better, to be honest.
Itchianus. Itchianus.
Itchianus, that's better.
Chinese.
Carlos the Jackal is a nickname, it's not his real name. Lenin had some other name, Ivan Ilyich, something or other. And Tchaikovsky was like a nickname. His real name was Peter Petrovich Ivanovich Petrovanovich.
Well, I know that Lenin and Tchaikovsky had the same, they share a name, Ilyich, because that was Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky, and Lenin was something Ilyich in there. So if Carlos Jackal's name was Ilyich as well at some point or other, then it'd be your chum in New Zealand would be the odd one out.
Which is irritatingly the right answer again. Yes, it is that they all share the same middle name, which is Ilyich, except for Michael Itchianus, whose middle name is not Ilyich, as Michael Ilyich Itchianus would be plainly absurd. It is, in fact, Ivan Itchianus. All of which, scratching at the surface, brings us to the end of our oddities, and the tally to date is that, well, Ian and Alan are beginning to wilt with 7, whilst Paul and Ken are blooming nicely with 11. Anyone who's easily pleased will be delighted to hear that it's time for our missing words round. The usual question, what lies behind the bar? Dennis Thatcher, if it's the one at his local golf club. But in this instance, we refer to the various blank headlines, some of which come from our guest publication, the unsurprisingly dull Retail News, the magazine for independent Irish grocers. So, eyes down, look in. Major order Soames to what?
To catch bulimia.
Is it a
Slim down, shut up. Lose 12 stone. Stop saying Diana's paranoid.
Button his lip is the right answer, but I think shut up probably was near enough.
I bet Major didn't say button your lip, Soames.
What do you think he would have said then?
Shut up, you fat idiot, you're losing us votes.
Another perfect and faultless impersonation. Next, Postman Pat gets what?
fruity with cake? He's had it off with a Battenberg.
Postman Pat gets up early in the morning just as day is dawning. He then, I think, puts the letters in his sack.
Does he really?
He gets beaten up.
New black and white cat.
Beaten up is the closest. A whack is, in fact, the answer. He was attacked in a shopping mall in Gateshead.
I know.
But it wasn't the real Postman Pat, was it?
Yeah.
Well, it would have been Greendale if it had been the real Postman Pat.
Very weird area here. Next, patient's bottom went where?
Private.
Ballistic after
Much
curry.
for the service.
It
Up in
caught
flames.
fire, didn't it? Up like a Christmas pudding. It's old age pensioner, but it's blazing arse. Went up like Christmas pudding.
It was in New Zealand. It was Michael Flaming Arse.
Flaming anus, I think it was. No? But Paul was
Whoosh.
closest.
Yeah.
Up in flames is the
Not the
answer.
closest in the sense that we said it as well, and you're giving him the
No, I
point.
said flames. He didn't say flames, I did.
This was, yes, it was,
Fair
it was
as the
quite right. It was,
subject.
good. Next, MP put head where? Sharing bed with man?
In itchy anus.
It's nothing to do with
In a mask.
anuses.
Oxygen mask.
Mask.
No, into noose by sharing bed with man. Reference to
Is
David
that a
Ashby.
Tory MP, was it?
Might be.
Is this Mr. Ashby?
It might well be David Ashby, yes.
You a bit worried about Comington's case that's going on? at the
I'm not
moment?
worried about you libeling him at all, no.
We're not allowed to say anything, because any comment about a current case has to be, as my lawyer friends in the audience will know, has to be both fair and contemporaneous. Who's a friend of mine.
Itchy's brother.
Did you say your lawyer friends in the audience just now?
Yeah, I have sort of 30 or 40 just here.
It's a bit like President Clinton. They've all got brown Macs on and they follow him wherever he goes. He can't get out of the car, so they're going, all right, Ian, come on, mate, all right.
Next, a taste for what?
Slow grocers.
No, this has got something you buy in it. It's got to be pop-up tarts.
Irish butter. Black pudding.
Irish batter, that's it. It's a taste for the black, in fact. This is from Retail News, of course.
Guinness.
Black.
Guinness.
Yes, referring to Guinness, because it was well before all that business.
Are you allowed to say Guinness?
Can we say Guinness?
I think we just have, haven't
Guinness, yeah.
I thought Angus was paid by the other lot.
Are
we? Who's
you?
the other lot?
Because you make pots of money out of all that, don't you?
Carlsberg.
You do as well, don't you? You make pots of money out of
I
everything.
used to. I don't do them anymore.
Do you? Oh, is your missus doing it now?
Yeah, she does. I can send her out. She's one of the monkeys in the PG Tips advert.
Well, we've all been there.
Yeah.
I've been a munch yogurt. That was just in my personal life. Next, My 34 Watt by Cliff.
Year diet. He's been on a diet since 1961 when Minnie Coldwell said he was chubby in Coronation Street.
It's absolutely right.
You had a busy week work-wise, have you?
I have, as a matter of fact, yeah.
No,
He's
just
got all
checking.
these piles of papers in his dressing room. It's
Well, you know, I
amazing.
just, you know, when I heard it was going to be a topical news quiz, I thought, well, where are they going to get the questions from?
There's always one SWAT in there, does all the homework and everything.
And finally, Blair gets what at number 10?
Hot dinner.
Livingstone a job. It's not funny.
No, there's far-fetched, though.
Very unlikely. Yeah.
Daily
in the
Mirror
door.
reckon he was measuring up for curtains.
Foot in the door, I'm afraid. Yeah, Paul's been reading the right papers again. It's the right answer. All of which half-baked ideas bring us fling to the end of that question, and indeed round, and indeed programme. And the terminal situation is that this week's wet blankets are Ian and Alan with 11, whilst this week's wet dreams are Paul and Ken with 14. So a knee trembler from Jerry Hall to our winners, a knee capping from Jerry Adams to our losers. But before we all dive under the duvet, we must first bid goodnight to our caption competition, Ian and Alan.
Auditions for new satellite porn channel get out of hand.
Police capture
they-
Marrow with street value of 175.
Copper's got a big knob that looks like a marrow.
You have a right to remain silent.
You have the right to remain a marrow.
It's a fair crop.
One of the worst jokes you've ever cracked. And yet
First time he's ever got a round of applause in 5 years.
Paul and Ken, how about you?
Now, there's something you don't see every day. Man with green eyes sticks out in a crowd.
They obviously actually can see out because there's one peering round at the back.
That's the Sergeant Major. He's shouting, "Oh, he's right."
Sorry, that was the worst joke you've ever heard. On which eventual note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Alan Davies, Paul Merton and Ken Livingstone, and I leave you with news that Roy Hattersley's diet seems to be going well after he just makes do with sending out for a hamburger for lunch. At Eton, Prince William's class lines up to meet the prefects.
Is that what you do? Is that what you do when you can't afford satellite television?
That's literally anus.
And his friends.
The whole family is a family
Yeah,
portrait.
down under. And in Westminster, as Bill and Hillary Clinton meet a delegation of Labour MPs, there's an embarrassing moment when one of Ken Livingstone's newts escapes. Good night.